Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 10 preview between the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Lions.
Offensively, the Lions are a matchup nightmare with the way they can stretch the field both vertically and horizontally. And right off the bat, a lot of credit has to be given to that offensive line. They have done a phenomenal job on both ends in a running game as well as in pass protection. Now, this week versus the Bears in that cover two, spacing is important. So whether or not offensive coordinator Scott Linehan wants to focus more on the running game or the passing game, either way, it'll have to come from spread sets for the Lions to be successful. Defensively, in the last matchup versus Chicago, the Lions called and played a great game. They got pressure on Cutler. They forced turnovers. They got off the field on third downs. Now, what was most impressive then and even more important now is the communication within the second and third levels of defense. You have to pattern read routes properly, passing guys off effectively, and the safeties cleaning up over top will be key in order for the Lions to pull off the victory. Now let's move over to Chicago in this ballgame, and the Bears will be welcoming back Jay Cutler with open arms. But quite honestly, Josh McCown held his own in Cutler's absence. Why? Because everyone else on that offense, that well-balanced offense, was able to elevate their level of play. And there's a lot of similarities in what the Bears do as well as what the Lions do offensively. They both can spread the field with talent, but what Chicago has to do this week is focusing on the little things, mostly pre-snap, being able to recognize stunts up front, being able to know when you're the hot receiver with sight adjustments. Those little things and tying those things up could make Cutler's return that much easier for him this week. Defensively, you saw the effect of the losses on that defensive front as the Bears were getting gashed on the ground by the Green Bay Packers. Defensive tackle Stephen Paella has to play better this week in controlling his gap and not getting over-aggressive. Otherwise, you'll see the Lions run a lot of quick hitters in an attempt to get Reggie Bush to the second level. And depending on the alignment, mostly in the slot or at the bottom of the numbers, you have to go with cloud coverage versus Calvin Johnson to put yourself in better position to make a play on the ball.
This week versus the Chicago Bears, we know the Detroit Lions will have to find ways to beat the cover two defense, and one way they can utilize Reggie Bush in the passing game is on a dart route. And I think they can have success versus this zone defense. I'm going to show you how they can get this done. We have double tight end sets, but we have the tight end flexed out. We have a tight end on the line of scrimmage, and we have Reggie Bush in the backfield. Simple concept, expanding the zone, widen out that cover two, and that way you'll be able to attack these guys with the running back in the passing game, because what you're going to do, you're going to pull everyone out of their zone. What we're going to do on the outside, we're going to send this receiver up on a clear out route. Got to widen out that defense, creating this void for the safety, whether or not he's going to get over top or take the tight end who's going up into the post. That's key right there, because now the safety has a 2-on-1 situation. Do I jump on the post or do I take out the streak going down the sideline? And on the weak side, what we have here, we're going to have your smash concept, your corner and your hitch. Classic. The hitch will hold the cover two corner right here. Smash, you have a tight end or a big wide receiver going against a safety. Now what we're going to do, as the cadence starts to wind down, we're sending Reggie Bush in motion, and we're going to wait till he gets a yard outside of the tight end, hopefully pulling this backer out just a tad, so that way at the snap of the ball, we're going to shoot him out to the flat. That's hopefully going to get this backer or occupy this corner, and he's going to come right back in on the dart route, because you have everyone's dropping into their coverage responsibilities, and that's where you want to hit Reggie Bush right over the tackle, and he can run the daylight. Or if this corner guesses, now you have a deep route down the field, or you have the post coming open. So they could use him as a decoy in the passing game, or they can get him the football on his dart route. And I think that's how they can have some success versus the Chicago Bears this week. I believe the Chicago Bears can hit a big play in the red zone in the running game by utilizing a quick trap versus that over-aggressive defensive front of the Detroit Lions. I'm going to show you how they can get this done. You see, we're going double tight end set, Forte in the backfield, and what we're trying to do is trying to hit it right here down the A gap, or trying to influence the defensive tackles, because we know Fairley and two very great D tackles right now in the game, and they're over aggressive and they want to get upfield and make a play in the backfield. So how we're going to block this quick trap in the red zone up, we're going to kick out this defensive end. We're going to have the play side tackle work up to get this Mike or his Will backer. That's his job right there. We're going to have the guard in the center show combo block of the nose, because we're trying to influence this defensive tackle to fly up the field. So he's going to fly up the field. We're going to try to influence the nose tackle that we're doubling him. Going to work up, but this guard is going to go up and try to get this Mike backer. Why? Because he's going to show flow this way, because Forte is going to open up this way, but it's going to be designed cutback. So now you have the center blocking down on the nose. You also have the play side guard coming back around and kicking out, trapping this defensive tackle. So that's his job, to kick him out, thus creating the hole right here down the A gap, reach block, seal block, the tackle, and also seal block the backer. Receiver is going to try to work up and get the strong safety so he doesn't make a play in the backfield. And Forte design cutback in the A gap, trapping in the red zone could be a big play in the running game for Chicago this week versus the Detroit Lions.
The X factor in this game for Detroit will be their running game. Like I said before, I believe they can have some success on the interior versus this Bears defensive front. And once you get Reggie Bush to the second level, he can make 1, 2, sometimes 3 guys miss and take it the distance. The X factor for the Bears is an obvious one, is Jay Cutler returning from injury, and how healthy and effective can he be in the pocket? Can he get out of the way if the Lions are able to get pressure? Those are some questions that have to be answered early on in this ball game if you're Chicago. Now, here are some coaching points for both teams in this ballgame. For the Lions, I believe they can have some success running the football versus Chicago out of spread sets and running the inside zone. That's a great way to get Reggie Bush to the second level quickly, and they also have to win the special teams battle. Both their kicking game as well as their coverage units have to be on point. You don't want to give up big plays to the Bears via special teams. And a big battle defensively that the Lions have to win will be between linebacker DeAndre Levy and tight end Martellus Bennett. If Levy can do a great job in covering Bennett, that way the Lions won't have to sacrifice a safety to do so that way they can play too deep back there versus that Bears passing game. And for Chicago, you don't want to put a lot on Jay Cutler's plate. This is his first game back. Lean on that ground game, and that way he can operate off play action, and you know the protection will definitely be there. And that leads me to my second point, the Forte factor. I believe Matt Forte could play a huge role in this ball game in both the running game as well as being a receiver out of the backfield. And you have to stay active in the secondary. That means getting your head around quickly. That means keeping your hands busy at the line of scrimmage to throw off the timing of the wide receivers. And Matthew Stafford is a guy that will give you an opportunity to make a play on a ball or two, so you have to be ready to make those plays when they present themselves. I like Chicago in this ballgame. I think they can stay more committed to the running game more so than Detroit, and I think that's going to be the key reason why they win. I know both teams have excellent options at receiver, but who can stay committed to the ground game? Who can run the football more to chew up that TOP, to eliminate some of the mistakes that can happen when you throw the ball? So I think the Bears' ground game will be the reason why they knock off Detroit. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Bear fan forums and Lion fan forums for always showing football game plan support.